Yeah, your recording was good too. We were able to reference it as we were going.
Oh, awesome. I'm so glad. Okay. So can everyone see my screen?
Yes,
Okay.
yes.
So in here, I'll pull up this first one just to show. So I know currently like this is for F&B in a buffet, and that's who this person is. That's um what department he works in, and as you can tell, our department number for buffet is 0200. So as you can tell, the department number is now 2000. So what I did was click edit. And see this magnifying glass is going to choose an account. So I
Yes.
switched it. Apparently, there is a different account. This is the old accounts. I'll say old accounts. This is the current chart of accounts we're working on and then this is the new accounts that they have. And as you can tell, it starts with the company code starts at 1000. So our new company code is 2100. So I took out all of this and left the department as 2000. And now you can see all of the department's actual accounting codes, and they give you descriptions of everything. So that's one way you can look at it. Another thing that I did, because I was like, I don't know, I knew the company code, but I was like, I don't know the departments, I don't know the what these certain accounting codes are. So I was doing one for utility, and I did electricity, and so I just typed in electric. Electricity, let's try electricity. And it brought up the accounting code for it. So that's two ways you can, look up the accounting codes, while you're in test, playing around with it just to get past it.
Okay, we called ourselves doing that. We're confident that we're going to get better as we get through more training.
Mm-hmm.
So we could live with our little kerfuffle for now, and then
Yeah.
we'll try it based on what you just said today.
Yeah. Yeah, that's how I was able to get past it because like we won't see these until next year. Um so that's why I was like, well, how do I get past this? And let me go look and see because whatever we're looking at is probably what we're actually going to see in live. So like, well, let me kind of get used to, looking at it and seeing how to search for it. So all right. So today we are going to be doing sourcing events. Really? Thought you was my friend. Okay. Did it just get stuck? Oh, okay. All right. So today we are going to learn how to do an RFP or RFQ or RFI from a requisition, from a template, from a blank form. We're going to see how to attach documents to a sourcing event, create a questionnaire, add suppliers, review the responses, award the sourcing event, and then what to do after conducting a sourcing event. And then we're going to learn about backing documents, how to load a fully executed contract, and how to load an addendum. So those are the three things, excuse me, those are the three things that we're learning today. So let's get right into it. Oh, sorry. Okay. All right, so we're actually going to start off on this one. So I'm going to show how to do a sourcing event from a requisition. So the end user came in, put in a requisition. They're looking for some crawfish platters. and they sent me an email saying, hey, I need some crawfish platters. I need between 300 to 500 crawfish platters. And that's the picture. There's like, it doesn't have to be exactly like the picture, but that's what I'm looking for. I'm like, okay. So, and they gave me how much they want to spend on it. No more than that. So from there, that's not something that I can basically go out to a store like my regular supplier. So I'm going to put it out for bid to see suppliers that actually can provide this item. I'm going to put it out to bid to see who can give me the best price and the best options. So here where this button, it says send to RFQ, I'm going to click on that. And I'm going to do a request for quotes because basically I need quotes back on this item. So I think everybody knows what an RFI and an RFQ and an RFP mean. So this one I want to request for quote. So I'm going to click on that. All right. So here we are. Should the base price of the following free form item be picked? No. So says this is the basically from.
Why'd you say no?
Because I don't remember what was put there, but since he said the item he doesn't want to spend no more than $2 to $3, I'm gonna put the bid price at $3. My base price at $3.
Got it.
Now, if I remembered and I was like, oh yeah, I'll do that, but I was like, I didn't remember and I just didn't want it to put anything because you can edit it and make it whatever you need it to be. So I'm going to change the event name. So the event, I always start off with our property number, and we'll go into the home screen of sourcing so you can see how everyone's kind of is regulated. So you can pick how you start off your event name. It's easy for you to go in starting off with your property number to say, okay, these are all my events, and you can look at all your events based off of that. So I'm looking for crawfish platters. So from there, I'm going to do a text, and this text is going to go to the supplier. So basically in here, I'm going to state my basically scope of work of what I'm going to tell the supplier I'm looking for. So I'm going to say, please provide a quote for the following. 300 crawfish platters. Round crawfish platters. 1-inch. Lip. Color. I really want to put enough color. And then I'm going to put need by. I want to say I need it in, let's say 2 weeks. Let's say need by December 29th, 2020. Because if you're like my property, they need everything done now and in and paid for. So we're going to get this ended before the end of the year. So the suppliers are going to see this, and that's what they're going to bid on. So this is a supplies. As you can tell, there's an asterisk next to the event commodity. So I'm going to put this in supplies. If I can find. Or of course, you can always search. So. This department is F&D, and I usually fill out as much information on this stuff right now. So I don't have to fill out any, you won't be filling out any of this other stuff until after the event is over. I'm going to RFP. Now, here, you can allow multiple responses, meaning the same supplier can bid more than one time. Or if you had like 2 items, and let's say there was 2 large dollar items, you can allow award of an individual line. So let's say if it was like 2 pieces of kitchen equipment and they were like over $10,000. So one supplier may have one of them cheaper than the other and vice versa. So you would be able to award the bid to one supplier and another supplier for things on the same bid. So that's what this line allows.
This is what I've been waiting for. I'm so excited about this part. You will not believe the manual effort to solicit bids and quotes.
Oh, I mean, we still even like now still deal with out of Coupa, but when you have something like this, I find it to be much easier because it's like I can, like, you know how they say to set it and forget it. That's kind of how I feel like this. You can just do it. You don't have to track it. You don't, like kind of have the constant follow, and it's easy. Even like, let's say your bid is happening like within a day or so, and you may have only gotten, like, you sent it out to 5 suppliers and only 3 have, responded. You can go into the sourcing event and send like an email, a reminder email to the other 2 that had not responded, instead of like going outside of it and sending an email.
I love it, man. I love it.
So this item, so Coupa automatically puts, so they put the event start date or whatever, and start up on submit. You can, if you needed to get more information, like you want to start this off and save it, you can click, it's already clicked on start event upon submit. But if, let's say, you want to start at a later time or a later date, you can do that also. But I'm going to start mine upon submit. And I'm going to end this. Like, they don't need that many days to look for a crawfish platter. This is not like this had to be out and inspect. They had to go out and inspect this or whatever. They could easily probably go to their supplier and get this information. And I keep like these kind of smaller items to I don't put it out for like a week or so. I keep it to a minimum because I noticed in my experience, my suppliers literally wait until the last day to put in their bid. So I was like, I had it out for like a week and they literally did not bid until like that last day of the bid. So I make it, I try to do it as, not as long as possible for them to actually get their bid in. And knowing this is not something that provides they need to go out and, solicit several suppliers to get or anything like that, I keep the bid short. So I'm going to keep this bid short because I want to go back in so y'all can kind of see exactly what it'll look like. So we're going to end it in like, I want to say 5 minutes. Now you can change the time zone. We're in Central Time. Let's see. Yeah, the question, Kim?
Oh, no. I just took the mute off because I keep going back and forth. I'm following along with you in the test environment.
Central. Here we go. Central Time. All right, here we go. And then I am going to, it is now 10. All right, we ended in, no, not PM. All right. So now I really don't use any of these tasks or anything like that. All right, so now we come to attachments. So in here, click add attachment. So you have the option of actually sending additional instructions to the supplier of maybe what you want their bid to come back looking like. So in here, I usually say, please attach a quote with images, specs, and pricing. And I make mine required. That way I won't have to go outside of Coupa and actually get the quote from the supplier. They can attach it in their bid, and now the bid will not let them actually submit without them providing a quote. So this one allows the supplier to respond with attachment, and it makes the response required. Now on file, we can basically, I can go in and add a picture of a crawfish platter. If, they need to say, hey, can you send me something specific? I can put that right here, and I can name the attachment as like crawfish platter image. So adding a form. So this is where we do our questionnaires. So basically, if there is a specific question that I wanted them to answer about the bid, and I needed a response back from them, I can put a questionnaire here for them to answer, which will be required for them to answer in the bid. So let's look at existing ones. So these are the common ones that we use that are up. So lead time, quote expiration, freight, diversity, or FF&E. So I'm gonna pick lead time, because since my lead time is so short, I want to basically see, can they get this in time enough by my need by date. So if I want to see what it looks like, I'll click here. And the question that the supplier see, what is the lead time for this equipment? So basically they can answer, and as you can tell, there's a red asterisk to it. So basically it's something that they're going to be required to answer. So basically say it's 3 days, 1 week, 7 days. So that's what they'll be able to answer. So here is basically where I can put more information if I need to on the actual item. So I'm looking for 300. It has my ship to address. I'm going to remove this need by date here. Just be careful. We had some issues with this need by date in sourcing. So if at all times, just leave it blank. So then I'm going to put $3. So as my base price. So I'm estimating it on basically what the end user is saying. Basically, they're willing to spend as far as the amount. Like, we're not going to spend any more than $3. So I know if somebody provided one for over $3, I know that's not a supplier I would use. So I know what anything is under $3, that's a win-win for us as far as that, to even mark on savings. So everything is there. I'm going to save the item. From there, I'm gonna go back to the top, and I'm gonna click on suppliers. So now I want to add suppliers to the event. So you can add new suppliers, and adding a new supplier, you can add suppliers that are even not set up in Coupa. So if there's a supplier you want to send one to that may not be set up yet, but you want to see by working with them and what kind of pricing they'll provide, you can add new. So you can add their company name here, their name, their contact name, and their email address. And so they would get an email of this event to actually bid on. So I'm going to actually copy from a previous event. So I use this often because I don't believe in recreating the wheel. So if I have already bid out to, let's say, some suppliers that provide this kind of products, I'm going to use those same suppliers really over and over again. If I may have a new supplier come in and I can manually add them, but if there is an event I've already done, then I basically am going to go add those same suppliers. So I'm going to show y'all how to do that one. Let's see, what did I have before? Let's see, kitchen. Let's see what we had before. I had them for a steamer or something. Okay. All right. So we're going to go do something else. So this is another way to show you. Sourcing. So let's say I'm looking for something. So here is actually all of the sourcing events that I have put out. It's here on alerts. So it can show you all the sourcing events you've actually put out. So I can go and view more, excuse me, and see like more events that I've actually put. So the same suppliers that I used for the ice cream freezer, I'm going to use for this bid because they basically provide kitchen equipment in bulk, or they provide small wares for kitchen in bulk. So I'm going to, this event number is 15290. So I'm going to stop bid. I'm going to go for previous event and put in 15290. And there it is. I'm going to click add. And I only put one supplier. That sucks. Well, there I go. So since that's the case, I'm going to add some new suppliers. So I'm going to add Lafayette Restaurant Supply, which I know is another supplier I can contact for these items. And as you can tell, they're already set up in Coupa, so their information immediately popped up. And then I'm going to add this bar. Same thing. Click save. So now I've added 3 suppliers. I can add more. You can have 10 suppliers. You can add however many you want that you want to send a bid out to. So from there, adding my suppliers, I always go back and look and check and make sure I had everything. Have my information, my questions, my item. Make sure that what I said is what I want to say in my my scope of work. I'm sorry, I missed this part. So when I do bid events, I always have the end user who asked for the quote as an event watcher. So I'm going to go add him as a watcher. So they will get emails from Coupa stating that the supplier has, that this particular supplier has bid on your event. So they'll be able to see that information. So now that I have added all of my information, I'm going back to suppliers and I'm going to click submit production event. Wait, let me move that timeline, make sure. It is now 10:24. We need to do, yes, a future time. So let's say at 10:30. Right. Submit production event. An item or service without a selected currency exists. Where? Oh, let's go to details. So as you see, I have an error. So go to details and it says it doesn't have a currency. Darn, darn, darn. Okay. So now save the item. All right. So that should take out my errors. Glad it showed that. Submit production event. Now, this is what, when the supplier receives the email, this is what the body of the email says. If you intend to participate, review the event timeline and accept the terms and conditions of the event. If applicable, click the My Responses tab to provide your response, which may include attachments, forms, and items and lots. So I'm going to say if you have, I'm going to add additional, if you have any questions, please contact. That is something Nikki showed us a while ago, like to add in if they had any questions, whatever, to put our information. So that's something you can add here in this box to add your information if one of the suppliers has a question or concern. Everything, I'm going to click submit. So as you can tell, it's here in my alerts that it's going to end in 4 minutes. So before it ends, I'm actually going to, instead of showing from the supplier end, I'm going to show from kind of our end. I'm going to add some responses so we can kind of see like how the bid is going to go. So I'm going to go in suppliers. So it's kind of rare that you have, I've had suppliers say, hey, I couldn't get in it. Here's my bid. So, and it is going to be rare that they can't get in to actually put their bid. But if that is the case, you can go enter it for them. Here it says enter response. So I can go in here and I can say this is CARES bid. So now you attach a file. I'm just putting anything in there. I don't think I have their file for the crawfish platters, but it doesn't matter. Just don't put anything. Oh, save on that one. Okay. And now I'm going to say he's going to charge $250. And then I'm going to submit response to buyer. All right. So now I'm going to go and do some more. And as you can tell, when you go in here and look and see who's actually responded, you can see how many number of responses that they did, or they did respond. Yeah. They only have a minute left. Let's see. Let's see. Can I do it in 30 seconds? That would be so wrong. We about to see, did I make it? Oh, that's wrong. But it happens. Okay.
So the event timed out, what happens? It closes on you or what?
It did. It closed me out. I couldn't attach a response. Let me see if it actually added the response. It did not. So that supplier waited too late to enter their information and he missed out on the bid. So that's actually a good thing. I like that. So now to actually see, so the event has ended and here are the responses from the supplier. And we can see based off the base price and the bid price, you can see who actually was saving us money. So they came in under our base price and they came in over. So we can go look at the individual bids. We can click on the response and we can see the actual quotes. We can see how they answered on lead time and we can see like how much charged. So we go back to responses. Now to make it even simpler, there's an export function. So I can export the responses. So I'm gonna click on that. And it actually puts it in an Excel file. And this is how it comes over. So we can see Care and Lafayette Restaurant Supply. And we can see the actual bid amount. And then we can see the savings over here. So I usually take this form and I forward this form to the end user for them to make a decision. Where's that? Where is it? And the other thing is you can export the attachments. So both of the attachments, they're put in a zip drive. A zip file. So all I'm gonna do is I drag and drop this into an email along with the Excel file to the end user for them to make an informed decision about which supplier they choose to go with. So once I have the response back from the end user saying, hey, I want to go ahead and go with Care. They had the best price, and the item that they showed me is the one I want to go with. I'm going to go into Care's bid, and I'm going to award the items. And they're going to say this response is awarded. And so now I have an option. I can choose to put in a requisition or put in a new requisition. So I can put in the existing requisition, a new requisition, or a catalog. So I'm going to keep the existing requisition. And I'm going to choose this particular supplier, save. So as you can tell, it brought me back to the same existing requisition. And it has here where I can actually go and look at the sourcing event. And it put in the correct amount, the awarded amount, the $250. And I'm going to need this. They said the lead time was 2 days, 3 days. So I give them to the next Friday. And click save. And now I gotta go fix this. Nope. 100. Put it in their general supplies. And since this was already in pending buyer action, that's the reason it's like clearing out, so it doesn't have to go to the approver. Well, the reason is because this is a manager and he has a $1,000 limit. So now when I submit to approval, it's just going to go straight to the supplier. The purchase order. So as you can see, there's the PO number, there's the sourcing event. So I'll go back on the sourcing event. So as you can tell, it put the requisition number, it has the purchase order number, and even after like it's invoice, you'd be able to see the invoice number on the related documents, all attached to the actual sourcing. So now I want to go in and do my savings. So here it says calculate, and here it will automatically calculate the savings from the event. So whatever the savings that you saw on the sourcing event, that's where it's going to put it. And my project baseline was 900. And the savings type is this is a new project. Enter savings again. And savings start date will start. It's for 1 month. It's open. It's not a CapEx. So I don't click savings validated. So I'll add all this information and click save. Let's see. Now if I go back to events, and I have a view where I actually look at all my savings for the year. So as you can tell, I can calculate my savings. So if y'all have a savings goal for like the year, it's almost best to do sourcing events to constantly keep calculating your savings so that you can see how much you've saved or how much you still need to get to in your savings events or to show where you have savings. Any questions?
No, but you're doing a great job. Thanks a lot.
Yes, Jim, there is a diversity questionnaire available to attach. Let's see. Oh, everybody asked that question. I apologize. There is, y'all better shout that out. Yes, there is a, let me do the next one. So the next one I'm going to do is from a, I'm going to do one from a copy event, and I can do the diversity questionnaire from there. So I'm going to, this next one I'm going to do every year marketing orders jackets for year of the whatever. So last year was year of the pig, I think. No, it was year of the rat. Next year it's year of the ox. So they're going to want to order fleece jackets for year of the ox. So I bid it out last year and I bid it out the year before that. So I'm going to do the same thing this year. So every year I bid these jackets out. So I'm going to put 011 year of the, and there's my year of the rat jackets sourcing event. So I'm going to copy that. So I'm copying that same event because I basically want the same information. I'm just changing from year of the rat to year of the ox. So I'm going to create. Year of the ox. So basically, I want 300 jackets. I want a light to medium jacket in the color red or black. Same thing, same cost. I have the new logo saying where I want it. So now I do need to change the enhanced date. So what I can do, this is simple way to do is I'm going to copy this and I'm going to do a new text field and I'm going to enter it and I'm going to change the dates to say the 21st. And I'm going to send that to supplier. I'm going to click add. And so I'm going to delete this one because it's out of date, but it basically said the same thing and it's all I had to change. So this is the person in marketing. This is my regional director. So I'm going to added him, did the commodities, same thing, nothing's changed. Requesting for quotes. So I'm going to go to the next in my timeline. So same thing, I don't give people much time. So you have till Monday by 12 o'clock p.m. to get it to me. Details. So as you can tell, I had the rat one here. Same thing I said, please attach quote with images, pricing of jackets and price of shipping. Same price. Let me change the year of the ox jacket. So now I'm going to go and add picture of the ox. Take that one off. Okay. Now in add forms, I'm going to add existing. Now we do add, there is a diversity one that's already complete. So we can look at that one. So it asks, does your business claim as a diverse vendor? No, are you women owned or minority, or are you both? So this is a one that they can click on. Remember, it's a red asterisk, so it is required. So basically we can ask diversity questions in here. And that's especially helpful if you're sending to suppliers that are not currently set up in Coupa and is a new supplier you want to work with and you want that information from them. Okay. I'm going to add an existing one. Let me see if I have one. And new. Enhanced date. And you can add as many questionnaires as you need to. And I always ask, will you be able to make the enhanced date? Because if I have to cancel one because they couldn't make the enhanced date, I say, you did say in your response that you could make it. I've had suppliers do that to me. Now let's see if like doing a new one. So let's see. What's the name of this one? Please check it. So if you want to create a new questionnaire, let's say there's something that you wanted to add. So I'm going to ask the supplier, can this jacket come all the way up to a 6X? So I'm going to pick which kind of field I want to do. Do I want to do one where they have to attach, they have to check the box, if they have to add a date, or the drop down is the radio buttons? It really depends on what you're asking, and it's like at your discretion on what you think like you need to do or how you want them to respond is the best thing. So I'm like, to me, it's a yes or no. So I can either have them type in a yes, I can have them do a checkbox yes or no. So that's what I'm gonna do as a checkbox. So here, I'm going to put, so here I want to say, can the jacket come in can come default yes, on check. Okay, so this is required. Where is it? Stop. Where is it? Oh, wait a minute. Descriptive text. Hold on. Oh, no, that's not what I want. Hold on, the label question. That's my question, and then oh, haha. I know what that means. Can the size of the jacket come in a 6X? Y'all gonna have to forgive me. We're gonna have to skip this one. Give me a second to the size of the jacket. Box. This is new. All right, return. All right, now let's see it. Gotta love it. Okay. All right, so I did this wrong. So there you go. So y'all forgive me for that one, but I'm give me a second. I'm gonna figure it out. But we're gonna delete this. Okay. So back to what we were talking about. So now I'm going to do the suppliers. So here are my 3 suppliers, and they are the suppliers that are corporate, that marketing corporate basically say that we use for our events. So these are the suppliers for my region that we use for marketing. So from there, I'm going to click submit production event. I hope I didn't confuse y'all. Supplier's email already exists on this RFX. Oh, duplicate email addresses. It will not let you do that. Go change it.
Do we have time to rerun this scenario from the beginning?
All right, so now I have all my emails are different. Submit for production. Which is going to expire on the 14th. I'm going to submit the event. So there it is, and this one ends in 5 days. So, all right, let's do it again. All right, let's do another one. Now, as you can see, I'm in all, and in all, you can see all properties, sourcing events. So let's say I needed to buy a TV for, let's say for a marketing event, they want to do 250-inch TVs they want to give out. So a lot of times I go in and look. Let's see, Carla, who's a supply chain manager in Baton Rouge, did a spot bid on a TV, a 40-inch TV. So a lot of times I'll go in and look and see who she sent it to. So she sent the Best Buy, High Tech, and Document Imaging. And, I'll go look and see, okay, what did she do? How much did they charge? So she didn't put anything in because she couldn't, basically estimate, well, how much is the TV going to charge? She just rather like all the responses be from the supplier saying how much they're going to put in for it. So she didn't put a base price. So when it came back, it basically, there's a way to show savings this way, but basically it came back so that the supplier said, okay, this is how much it's going to be, since she didn't know how much they were going to charge. So I can actually take that 15,365, since I was showing like one from a copy, and I go to create event. We'll go 15,365, which is her spot bid, and I can create from there. Like I said, a lot of times I go back in and see like another property who may have created it already, that maybe I don't have to go behind that and create it again also. Somebody may have already done it, which, as you can tell, a lot of the information is already filled out. I just have to change a few things, but it's kind of already done, so I just have to go change a few things to formulate it to my bid. So here is so this one is a more in-depth question on diversity. And this actually has to do with the state of Louisiana. So this one is more tailored to, since Carla is in Baton Rouge, which is in Louisiana, her diversity questions are more tailored to how it will affect the state of Louisiana for her diversity spend. So from there, let's alter our line item. So now I'm actually going to go look for my property. Which is going to be very blue. Okay. Okay, it's not working. Oh. Okay, maybe it's just me. All right, take that date out and save item. I'm going to go add allow multiple responses. And the reason I'm saying that is because I put the most generic information in there to say, provide me a 50-inch smart TV. Well, you know, there's Samsung, there's LG, there's Sony. So I can give the supplier the opportunity to provide me more than one quote or more than one bid. So to narrow that down, I'm going to redo this. And I do this all the time. Then sometimes you have to go back and rethink it. Brand specific. And let's say to even help them further, cost under $500. I'll click add. I'm going to take that out. So that way I've kind of narrowed it down. And let's say I don't want to spend over $500 for a TV. So I know like anything under $500 would be good. So I'm going to add existing. Now I can look on here and see, or I can look at this one that says freight and actually see like what it says and if it is conducive to what I'm actually looking for. And it is. I want to know how much all this going to cost. So 200 TVs, how many, thinking about how many pallets, it's going to cost me some freight. So I want to know how much the freight is going to be. So this is actually a question I want on my bid. You say you saw a survey that says you must select diversity attachment. Kim? Kim? Is she there? Okay. All right. So those are my suppliers. My 3 suppliers I'm using are the same 3 suppliers that Baton Rouge used. And I'm going to submit. Some elements do not have weights assigned to them. Click proceed to submit the event or choose add weights. Proceed. Okay, and we want to submit the event. Any questions on that one? Kim, did that help you? Is she gone? So create test is like you can actually go in and look and see like how it would look going over. So let's create one. So let's do a new one. So let's do request for proposal. So I need to have one. I need plumbing air plumbing in quote restroom. Natural pre-bid. All right, this is RNM. Plumbing. Request for proposal. All right. So timeline. Everything in since they're coming to walk here. Give them a whole week to get this in. And I'm going to say we're going to be complete. They got to get it in by 3, 4, let's say 5 o'clock my time. The details. So I'm going to do an attachment. And I'm going to do a scope of work. I'm going to attach the scope of work that they need to look at. And I'm just attaching anything at this moment. Let's see. Uh-oh. Is attach. Required. I'm going to add, and I'm going to put it as a new service. So here. going to say this is going to cost, I'm going to estimate the cost. So another rule of thumb that I use, we usually have like one supplier that may come out and they may provide a quote. So I may base the base price off of that initial quote. So if they came out and say this is going to cost us $65,000, then I'm gonna base it off of that, because basically that supplier may have come out, they have the potential to win the bid, and I may still be paying $65. If I come over or under, I've based it off of that, saying that I had the documentation to say, well, where did you get the $65,000 from? Well, we had a supplier come in and kind of gave us a base price of how much this is going to be. I'm going to save the item. So now I'm going to add suppliers. I'm going to add new suppliers. So let's see. And I'm going to add this down here. And there's another one. So I've added my suppliers. So now I want to create a test event. So I don't want to go into production. I want to create a test event. So let me do that. So let's say I want my test event to last for 1 hour. Well, let's see. Oh, let's see, it ends at, let's say this ended in 30 minutes. And this is why I put it in Central Time, because now you gotta sit here and figure out like the time it is. So that's 9 9:20 p.m. No, yes. Okay, launch test. Suppliers' emails cannot be empty. This is a test event, so be sure not to use a real supplier's email. Use your email to view the event from a supplier's perspective. Well, there you go. I wonder how that's gonna flow. Let's see. Thank you. That is disgusting. Cancel. All right, let's go back to suppliers. And let's go to create test event. All right. Launch test. I don't like you. Okay. So. Let's see what it's going to do. Oh, I don't like you still. All right. Do another email address. All right. We did it. Okay, so here's the test. So basically, the email that I get from Coupa, I can go in here and actually test out like what the supplier sees. I've done this before because a lot of times the suppliers will come back and ask like, "Hey, I don't see this," or "Hey, I don't know what this means. Do you see what I'm talking about?" So knowing from what the supplier is seeing is helpful, like on their end of it. So like I had this sent to like my personal email address. So I know a lot of times, even when we're doing sourcing events and under suppliers, we will put our personal email address to have it sent just in case something goes wrong. Then I can actually go in it as a supplier that's responding and look to see from the supplier's perspective, or maybe I need to rephrase that, or maybe I need to do that. And if that's the case, I can go in and do a revision and change something. So I can go and like edit the event if like I need to clarify some information, or I may need to add an attachment. Let's say I forgot an attachment. So I can go into details and add like some survey pictures or the actual, scope of the pipe or the pictures of the pipe. I can go here in the file and add. And add another document or another form. Go back to settings. And I'll do create test events. Oh wow, you make me do it again. Cancel. Well, you know what? It's basically to go in here and kind of see from that perspective. So I'm gonna go back in events. So then I can more or less go around and play in it. And as you can tell, it said I did a revision on it, but it's in draft, so it's not even in test. So I would have to go back and add all that information to go back and test to make it put it back in test so I can play in it. So that helped, Jim?
Yeah, you're good. I appreciate it. I just, I know it's a helpful tool to everyone, and everyone's going to see that button sitting next to your submit. But I think, like I said, especially new users, we do a few tests in the beginning to get used to it. And then to open that and see what it looks like from a supplier side, because they will call us with some questions and, hey, I'm seeing this or I'm seeing that. And just like you did, the important fields that we're putting that information in. So we understand what they're going to see. But I think in the very beginning, very helpful tool. But you could see how astute you are using it and getting around it, and that's one of the best tools there is for us to get those bids out to people. So very well done.
Okay, and I would have to go in if you still want to see it, Kim or Mike. I would have to go in live. So you in live Coupa if you want to see it, because I'll have to send it to my personal email address and then come back. So if you are interested in seeing like what the supplier sees on that end, just let me know. All right. Woo, we talked about a lot. We added suppliers, we did award the bid, we put it in a requisition. All right. Are there any questions about sourcing events? I see you typing, Kim. What you got? Okay, I'll show you on the back, like on the back end of it, because that'll take a little while. I know we have 2 hours, but I also want to go cover backing documents and contracts. So I will show you what the supplier sees on that end. So now we're going to talk about backing documents. So backing documents are the documents that we add to the PO, or that's the contract or pricing agreement that we add in Coupa to attach to, I won't say PO, to the requisition, basically as a document, so that whatever the item is, that we had documentation to, and saying basically this is a legitimate bid, I mean a legitimate purchase, that we have quotes, basically. So because I know we've all experienced if the supplier come back and say one price, and they say, oh, you sent me this quote, and it's actually another. So basically that's what our backing documents are. So what I'm going to discuss is contracts as our backing document, and how to upload a contract into Coupa. So for Kim, for your property, you'll be using, let's see if I can get it. You'll be using this document to actually use to upload your contracts to. So as your actual contract number. So let's say you have a contract with, let's use ThyssenKrupp. I don't know who does your elevator maintenance, but Thyssen is a big one around here. I'm sorry. So for there, I'm gonna go actually pull up their contract, because ThyssenKrupp's contract is a corporate contract. And let's say we need to go ahead and create an SPO for the life of the contract for it to be invoiced against. So basically, probably got an email from the commodity manager saying, hey, y'all go in and create y'all SPOs to send to ThyssenKrupp so they can invoice against, all based off of the corporate contract. So I'm going to go to the corporate contract, which is already uploaded in. No, that one makes sense. I want you to upload a contract. That's not it. Let's pick another one. Come on, Kim, give me a contract. Give me somebody y'all might use. Landscaping. All right, that's a good one. Landscaping. Okay, let me go pull up my landscaping one. Thanks, Q. All right. So let's say you have gotten the contract, the fully executed contract, meaning you've gotten the contract back from however y'all write y'all contracts, and you've gotten the contract back and it's signed by the general manager and the supplier. So now you need to go upload it in Coupa. So here is the fully executed contract, and I'm going to look on here, and I'm going to look for the information that I'm going to actually need to put into Coupa. So from there, I don't know what's wrong with it, why I can't hear y'all. I apologize. I don't know why. So from there, I'm going to look on here for my scope, like to see how long this contract is going to last, and how much the total contract is for. So annually is $85,000, but they're going to charge $7,000 a month. They're going to do 12 months of service. So, and it'll automatic renew unless we do a 30 days written notice to terminate. So I also look for if there's anything that's kind of out of that, maybe out of the ordinary in this contract compared to another contract that I may need to put notes in the contract for it, but it looks just standard. So basically that's the information I need to know. So I need to know it is $85,000 for the year. So when I go in and create my SPO, I know I'm creating my SPO at $85,000 as an amount. So that way, when they go in every month, that they're saying they're doing $7,083.33 a month, then I know that there's enough money in there to cover it. Okay. So from there, I'm going to go in contracts. I'm going to click create. So that supplier is Lakeview's Grass Doctors. So Lakeview. All right, so now the contract name, we're going to put in the well, I know they have the new naming, the new nomenclature naming, so it'll probably be BTNO and Landscaping Services. And my contract will be, so my property is New Orleans. And my property is BTNO and 21, and the sequence is going to start 0001. So every time you go to upload a new contract, you're going to use this spreadsheet to do it. So contract is BTNO-21-0001. And that's your contract number. So it's going to start, see, December 1st, and it's going to expire in a year on the 30th. So that way, Cooper will send it to me saying, hey, you have a contract that's expired, and I can go in and put alerts that'll tell me, hey, your contract is about to expire. So we want to add the minimum spend, which would be the $85,000, and that is the life of the contract at the year. This type of contract is a facilities contract. Is this a lease? No, this is not a lease. So this is landscaping services. And my key terms are termination and termination of 30-day written notice. All right, so the initial contract amount was $85,000, and so is the current contract is at $85,000. Now you have a choice of, if you know this is going to auto renew, you can do that. If you know like this is only going to be a year, we're not doing it again, you can put fixed. Or if it's perpetual and you know this is going to keep going on and on and on, you can add that. Now, sometimes I do not add anything here. It is not required. It's not going to hurt the contract anyway, one way or the other, if you put whether it's going to be perpetual, auto renew, or fixed. So basically, is you can leave this blank if you want to. I wonder why I can't. Okay. So this is going to be for 12 months. It was executed on the 1st. And my general manager signed the contract, is active. So now I need to go in and add the actual contract. So I'm going to go in and I'm going to go look for it and add it. And also you can drag and drop, which is something I use all the time, is drag and drop. So I go and add as attachment. It technically it does not matter. You can choose file, or you can add it like I just did, drag and drop. Now, if this was a contract that multiple properties were using, then you can say on everyone. And having this does not hurt. I mean, if you click everyone, or if you click like I'm about to do and put New Orleans, so that only members of these content groups can see this contract. But as buyers, we're able to see everyone's contract. So it doesn't matter if I put New Orleans or if I don't, and everyone can see it. That's the difference. So if I just want basically all of the New Orleans, if they go in to look at contracts and they're looking for all New Orleans contracts, and it's an end user, they can see what I've for all New Orleans contracts. If it says everyone, then anyone from any property will be able to see this contract. But for buyers, we're the ones that can see everyone's contract, so it kind of doesn't matter. It just only matters if you just wanted to stick specifically to your property. So I'm sticking this specifically to my property, so I put New Orleans. And I'm going to save and publish. So now if I want to go in and see it, I can do advanced. And let's search by the supplier, which was Lakeview. So here is the contract that I just did. I'll click on it. And this is just basically in a review. So basically I can see everything that I just added. Now I do use this function. So I do go in and add alerts. So if I have a property contract that I know I'm going to need to look at within 90 or 60 days or 30 days before it expires, so I can start whether we have to go back and negotiate, whether we have to go back and renew, whether we're going to need an addendum, I'm going to go back so that I can, so I'm going to have Cooper alert me to say, hey, you need to go back and look at this contract, it's about to expire. So I'm going to add an alert. So I'm going to add one 60 days before expiration date, and I can add myself. And I can also add like the end user, so the end user know like, hey, if you want me to go back out to bid on this contract, or are you fine with the supplier and we can just let it auto renew, I can, they'll get the same email from Cooper saying, hey, this contract's about to expire. So basically they can contact me and say, hey, Kashana, this contract's about to expire. And I can basically ask like, hey, do you want to go ahead and auto renew, or do you want to, for me to go back out to bid on this, on landscaping? And they can let me know. So I'm going to add the alert. Any questions on how to add a contract? Sorry, you have to type it in. For some reason, this meeting chat is muted, but why? Unmute.
Can you hear us now?
I can hear you now. Awesome. All right, Kim, you can ask your questions now. You should be able to unmute. You can say something? Timmy's still acting funny. Oh, you're unmuted. Okay. So let me see. Oh, okay. No problem. Oh, let me see if you have a question. Angela, you have a question? No? Okay.
No, I was just checking to see if it was working since it was giving you trouble.
I'm going to send you the Excel file after training. Yeah, it's not uploaded anywhere. I just happen to have that, just a little background information on it. When we first started, they used to have contract administrators. They used to actually go in and upload the contracts before supply chain managers had the access. So then they moved that job function off to us to actually upload our fully executed contracts. So before then, we had this spreadsheet that they gave us that, let's say you had some kind of, like if you had an older contract that you had to upload that was let's say I had a like the music for that's on the casino floor. That was a contract from probably 2016, and we were still using that supplier, but I didn't have a fully executed contract, so I can go in and create an SPO for it. So we had it in an older repository. So I basically had to go upload that contract, but I did not have it wasn't in a place to where I had a contract number. So they gave us this spreadsheet to basically get the contract numbers for them to go and put into Coupa. So I had an older Excel from then. I had this Excel spreadsheet, but basically it's the same thing that you would be using. So you'd be putting in your, property name in like for the years, 21, and then you'd be going using 001, however is, all the way down to you put in all your contracts. So if that makes sense. So so I'm going to send you that file because that's an old file. All right, so how to add an addendum. Let's see. Zero 5733. Let's see, requisitions. Let's go to all. Okay, so in here, so I had an existing contract. If y'all remember from yesterday, I did a requisition that had a starter engine with it, and it had a contract to it. Well, now they want to add on 3 more starter engines to get repaired. So what I did was, instead of creating a whole new contract, I did an addendum to add these 3 to the existing contract. So I wrote it up in an addendum, sent it off, got it signed. So now I need to go add that addendum to the existing contract. So let's see if I can, this is Louisiana machinery. So this is my first amendment, and that's the final executed copy. And I usually put final at the end so I know, like, I've gotten all signatures. So basically I put in there that, now the cost is increased, and now the exhibit is adding on 3 more additional starters for repair. So I'm gonna go in, so that's my document, and I'm gonna go into into suppliers, and I'm gonna go to contracts, and I'm gonna go, and I put in Louisiana machinery. So here is the contract here, and that was to replace engine number 2. So now replacing 3 more engines. So I'm gonna go here and click edit. So I'm going to say now the initial contract was 16,000, but now the current contract is about to be 64,000. So I'm just going to leave that alone, but my contract amount has increased. And now I'm going to go and add in the addendum. And as you can tell that this setting is checked, it says update pending requisitions to reference the revised contract. And we want to say yes. So I can go in here and now I can change the contract name, and I'm just take out engine number 2. And I'm just leave it at repair of casino boat main engine. And I'm going to say start repairs. Okay. So I've added a note and I've added my amendments. Everything is okay. I'm going to save and publish. So, are there any questions on that one? No? Okay. So we still have some time, and I can go in live and show you a, I know Kim, you wanted to see one in live of a sourcing event and what the supplier sees on their end. So, but we are actually complete with the training for today, as far as we did sourcing event and contracts and addendums. So if there's, so I can go in and show that. Let me go in live. Let's create an event. Okay, I want RFQ. And actually, I have to actually do a sourcing event for a steamer. So excuse me, right? Because like I'm gonna actually go through it since I'm in live, and even though I'm gonna save it. But let's see. Here we go. So the director of F&B wants to get a replacement steamer. So I went, sometimes we have to go and actually do a scope of work ourselves. So they'll say, hey, I want a steamer. So now we have to basically go in and figure out like, okay, we may have to tell, ask probing questions. What kind of steamer you want? Are you looking, so he's looking to replace a steamer. So do you want the same steamer? So do I need to go buy the same brand? And he sent me a picture of a steamer that he wanted, which was more or less of an upgrade of the actual steamer that he has. So, I had to go and say, okay, you want a 6-pan or a 10-pan, electric, gas, or direct? So what I did was I went and looked online of the steamer that he sent to me, and I usually go on Webstaurant. Now, Webstaurant is not very reliable as far as pricing and things like that. But when I'm looking at specs and, when I'm trying to bid out, I'll go look on there to see like exactly what they may have. They just have a broad range of items you can look at. But like I said, pricing may not be as reliable as, bidding it out to a supplier. But I can get specifications from there that basically can help me to write the scope of work for the actual bid. So that's why I went to get the information. That's how I found out, do you want a 6-pan or a 10-pan? This is the gas or electric. And so I also included facilities to say, hey, okay, this may be this phase, this BTUs, this voltage, will this be able to work in the current area it's in? So that's why we were going back and forth figuring it out. So now, once I have all the information, I can send it off to a supplier and they can give me a more accurate quote, and I won't get as many questions as far as like what this, what this is, or any more probing questions. I kind of give them all the information that they can provide me an accurate quote. So I know he wants a 6-pan, and it's the current item is a gas one. So the current one he has is a 5-pan, but like I said, apparently he wants to upgrade the current one that he has. So I went on, let's see if I still have it up. Yes, I do. So this is where I went on Webstaurant to look, and as you can tell, that's the pricing. With Webstaurant, their pricing can fluctuate, so that's why I never kind of rely on that pricing to put even as a base price, because sometimes it could be just way off from the quotes that you'll receive. Plus, you got to add in shipping, and then if you have like extra things that you want, added to it, that's the other issue. So he wanted a 6-pan. I looked at a 6-pan. I looked at a gas. Let's see. He actually gave me a Vulcan. So I looked at this one. Is what he wanted. So the other thing is, and when I go in and I'm going to go put the bid, I'm not going to put, I want a Vulcan. I'm going to leave that brand blank, because if you've ever dealt with a supplier in a brand name, they have some manufacturers as like first come, first serve. So you send it to 3 suppliers and say, I'm looking for a Vulcan. The first supplier to get there may get that Vulcan price, and then the next one called me not be able to get it, because the manufacturer may be like, well, somebody already called for this quote and I already gave it to them, so they might be out of luck. So they may be able to go get another brand with equivalent specs that I'm going to give them. So I usually try to keep the brand out of it. And knowing that there's at least 2 brands that I can get for a steamer, and he already has a Cleveland, so I know I can either get a Vulcan or a Cleveland. So what I need to tell them is that I want it at a 1-phase and 120 volts, and I want 6 pans. That's going to be the big thing. Okay, so now let's go back into sourcing event. So now I'm going to add in my text. Please provide a quote for the following. What else I said? 60 volts. So I say natural gas, because apparently there's a difference between natural gas and propane. 6-pan. And then a lot of times I'll download these things, especially if they have like something extra that they may want to have. A lot of times you may have to even specify the plug, like what type of plug needs to go into the wall. I've had those too. So I want a convection steamer. I'm gonna say convection steamer. I think that sounds better. All right, 60 hertz, 1-phase. Steamer. Thanks, Jim. Oh, he gone. Okay. All right. So now I'm not going to put in a need by date, because basically I'm really going out for, it's more or less a request for information, but I want to see the quotes. This is probably going to be CapEx. So CapEx is closed for the year, so it'll be probably sometime next year before we can purchase it, whenever they give the okay to go ahead and purchase this. But I want to have my quotes in line, and then I want to be able to provide this to our director of finance to say, when he comes back and say, well, how much is this steamer cost, and if he can work that into either the budget or CapEx. So I'm send that. So I'm not going to put a need by date. So this is kitchen equipment. So, or you can look it up by, I try to, as you can tell, the list for commodities is really long. So I usually either try to look it up by, try to think about what it is and try to like limit it from there. So I'm gonna put this as equipment. And this is for F&B. And this is for my property. And I'm going to allow multiple responses. And I'm only ordering one item, so I don't need to award an individual line item. And so I'm going to add the director as a watcher because he's the one that asked for it. And I have to add my regional director. He always wants to be in the loop on what we're bidding out. So my timeline. So I'm going to give, I'm not in a rush. Like this is not something I need to buy like immediately. So I'm going to give them till Monday. And I don't like, give me a second. And I'm going to give them Monday till 4 p.m. to get it together and detailed. So I'm going to say, please attach quote with images and images specs. Let's see. All right, I'm going to add a new item. I am looking for a one. So I'm not going to put a base amount. And the reason I'm not is because I don't know how much is going to come back. Like I would, a lot of times I may send a one-off to my local restaurant supplier who can send me a quote back like in like the same day. And I can base my base price off of that. Like I said before, when we were looking at it before, like that way I can see exactly what, like I can base it off of that because they may be the ones that win the bid. So it's not like I'm going to be so far off the base that it doesn't make sense. So this is going to go to my property and I'm going to save the item. But since I don't know and I don't really want to guess and just come up with something just incorrectly, I'm not going to put a base price. So I'm not going to add any questionnaires. There's nothing really specific that I need to, because I'm going to send to established suppliers. And in my case, I'm sending to Louisiana suppliers, and that's for a whole other reason. But you know, if you need to add questionnaires, you can. The only thing I think I want to say is freight. So I'm going to ask about freight. So I am going to send freight because I want to know, like, if I'm spending is now like, you know, $15,000 for the steamer, but I'm spending 5 to 10 on the freight. So I do like to know, hey, can I know about freight? So suppliers, I'm going to add from a previous event. Let's see what I had. I had a recent one actually. Oh, for the freezer. For the ice cream freezer. Oh, who else I did too? Not the ice cream freezer, the gelato. You just bought a gelato dipping cabinet. So, and those are my suppliers. And as you can tell, I have my personal email address in here, basically for that reason. So if I need to go in and look at anything in the sourcing event from a supplier's view, I can go and pull this email from my, pull that email from my personal email to go and look at it. Okay. But let's go in and actually do a test. So we're going to do a test event. So let's see what it's going to say. So I'm going to just send it to me. It doesn't look like it's going to let me. Okay, let's go back. So So I'm gonna take those suppliers off and just add me and then do create a test. Because that was a lot. We'll sit there and try to figure out all those email addresses. I'm like, that is not necessary. All right. Let me actually, oh wait, you can't do that. I always do that. You gotta click the red X to remove it. And okay. Now I can go to create a test. So I'm going to send to this one, which is now launch test. So let's see. I'm currently in test. So in test, let's see. Yep. Let's see. Let me see. Let me see if it's gonna send it. If not, I'm gonna just go ahead and actually put out the sourcing event and okay. That's what I'm going to do. I got an email. Oh, it sent it. Oh wow, that is so weird. I'm not even gonna hate on you. Here we go. Let me forward this right quick so you can see it. All right. Let's see, did my email come through? Hopefully that's it. But here it is. So here is what the supplier would see on their end. So they can click view event or intend to participate. So I'm going to view event. So if I intend to participate, now we have terms and conditions that we add, and I have to ask Nikki about that, how that needs to be handled, because I think they've changed. So I'm gonna ask Nikki about the terms and conditions, but they can't enter a response. Let's see if they don't let me enter a response. Oh, they did. Now, usually it doesn't let you enter a response until you've accepted the terms and conditions. And that's in live, but I think we're in the test one, so we're good to go. So this is what the supplier sees. So basically they have to go in here and add the file, say how much the freight is going to cost, and then tell me how much the steam is going to cost. And just like when I did responses to on the other end of it, how it showed like when I was as a buyer that I can enter responses, same thing that supplier sees. So basically, and it's submit responses to buyer. So oh wow, that's something. So apparently Coupa allows you to see, and I don't really be on this end of it, but so these are two other ones that I actually looked at apparently, so I can actually see how many times I've actually responded to a sourcing event. So this is everything that basically the supplier sees. and they tell me when it ends. And like I said, it ends in 5 days. I might have to cut that because these suppliers like to procrastinate, and I'll be getting bids at 3 p.m. on Monday is when they'll respond, which makes no sense. So I might just do it till Friday. But basically, that's what a supplier sees. But like I said, I do have to go in here. This I will be doing this actual bid. Like I'm actually going to send this out. And as you can tell, I have this one in draft. So now it's in draft. That's the test one. And if I click on here, it'll actually delete it. So, which is fine because I don't need 2. I just need 1. So as long as you don't put it into submit, then you will be able to like delete it in draft. As you can tell, some people have stuff they haven't completed. So once it goes into production, like this, once it goes into production, then you don't have the option to delete. So now I still have it in test. So even though I deleted it, they put it back in test. Now that's funny. But I learned something new today, so what that tell you? So any other questions? We got 5 minutes left. Anything else? And I'll give you my telephone number, Kim or Mike, if you want to call. I know Q and Nancy, they know all this stuff. They do they do this stuff. So if y'all, you still have questions, and I know you said your mic wasn't working, and you still have questions and you want me to answer them. Right, I think that's it for today, guys. So I will talk to y'all again on Monday. But as usual, like I say, I am available if you have any questions or want me to go over anything else. I do not mind at all. All right, y'all. I'm gonna stop recording.